We now have official confirmation that both fusion forms of Kyurem are going to be making their way to Pokémon GO. I'm extremely excited about this, and I feel like you should be as well. There's definitely a lot of gameplay implications behind the fusion forms of Kyurem being in Pokémon GO. I do think it's definitely going to change the game. And yeah, that's what I want to talk about in this video. Let's get right into it. Alright, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokémon GO video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's dive right into it. Alright, so with the upcoming Unova Go Tour event, a lot of players were speculating that this event would see the introduction of the two fusion forms of Kyurem, and it looks like that was actually correct, because Niantic recently announced that both fusion forms of Kyurem are going to be making their debut during the Pokemon Go Tour event. And I'm really excited about this because when it comes to fusion forms of legendary Pokemon, they are incredibly powerful and they definitely allow you to complete a lot more content. And this was something that we saw with the fusion forms of Necrozma. Back when Niantic introduced those Pokemon, it was incredible for anyone who needed a really good Ghost type or a really good Steel type. In fact, both of those fusion forms are so powerful that they're even stronger than Mega Evolutions. That's just how powerful fusion forms can be. And it looks like we're going to be getting more fusion forms in the form of Kyurem. I really do think there's going to be some very strong and positive gameplay implications behind getting both of these Pokemon. Black Kyurem and White Kyurem are going to make their debut in Pokemon Go during Pokemon Go Tour Unova. All trainers will be able to experience these forms of Kyurem through a phenomenon known as Pokemon Fusion, which was originally introduced with Necrozma. Trainers will have a chance to learn more about these forms of Kyurem in the event-exclusive special research story. Alright, so let's talk about both of these fusion forms. Black Kyurem and White Kyurem will make their Pokemon Go debuts in 5-star raids during Pokemon Go Tour Unova. And in case you didn't know, Pokemon Fusion is the ability to combine certain Pokemon into a single, more powerful form with an altered appearance. By using DNA splicers, Kyurem can fuse with Zekrom using Volt Fusion Energy to become Black Kyurem, or it can fuse with Reshiram using Blaze Fusion Energy to become White Kyurem. Black Kyurem and White Kyurem cannot be traded, transferred to the Professor, or transferred to Pokemon Home. Now, here is how you can fuse Kyurem. It's basically going to work exactly the same as Necrozma. When it comes to Black Kyurem, you can fuse Kyurem and Zekrom together using 1000 Volt Fusion Energy, 30 Kyurem Candy, and 30 Zekrom Candy. And then when it comes to getting White Kyurem, you can fuse Kyurem and Reshiram together using 1000 Blaze Fusion Energy, 30 Kyurem Candy, and 30 Reshiram Candy. When you fuse Kyurem, it will remain in that form until you decide to separate them. Separating fused Pokemon will not cost any fusion energy or Pokemon Candy, but you will need those resources in order to fuse it again. That's not all. Pokemon Go Tour Unova Global will feature 2 special backgrounds for you to collect, one inspired by Pokemon Black version and one inspired by Pokemon White version. They basically did the same thing for Necrozma back at Pokemon Go Fest 2024. When you fuse a Reshiram or Zekrom that has a special background with a Kyurem that has the opposite color special background, the fused Black Kyurem or White Kyurem will have its own variant background. That's something that's actually pretty new. Now, when you fuse to get Black Kyurem or White Kyurem, both of them are going to come with a very powerful exclusive charge attack. Black Kyurem is going to have the move Free Shock, which is, I really do not know if it's going to be a beefed up version of Glaciate or it's going to be an electric type attack, but I'm assuming it's going to be a very strong electric type attack that's going to make Black Kyurem one of the best, if not the best electric types in the game. Now, if you get White Kyurem, you're going to get the attack Ice Burn, and I think it's going to be the same thing, only this time with fire type damage. So yeah, both of these Pokemon are definitely ones you will want to get. I do predict that they are going to be the absolute best of the best of their types. Now, let's talk about Fusion Energy, which you need in order to get these fusion forms. Trainers can obtain early access to Volt Fusion Energy and Blaze Fusion Energy after defeating Black Kyurem or White Kyurem in raids at this year's in-person Pokemon Go Tour event in Los Angeles and New Taipei City. So if you're attending any of these in-person events, you're basically going to have early access and you'll be able to get your fusion forms of Kyurem before everyone else. And then when it comes to the global event, that's when the rest of the trainers in the world are going to be able to get both fusion energies, and it's going to be by doing raids of Black Kyurem or White Kyurem. Alright, so I'm super excited about the introduction of these new fusion forms because just like with Necrozma, when they introduced the fusion forms for that Pokemon, there were a lot of gameplay implications, and I really do feel like a lot of those gameplay implications are now going to be applied with both of these fusion forms of Kyurem. When you fuse Kyurem into either Black Kyurem or White Kyurem, you're going to get yourself a very powerful charge attack, and I think this charge attack is what's going to allow this Pokemon to become top tier when it comes to electric types, ice types, and fire types. I do think this is going to be a huge change, because when it came to Necrozma's fusion forms, both of those Pokemon pretty much became the top tier as soon as they were introduced. Like with Dawnwink's Necrozma, it's basically one of the best, if not the best ghost type in the game, and the same can be said with Duskmane Necrozma when it comes to steel types. And it's not just with raid battles. In PvP in the Master League, both of these Pokemon are incredibly powerful and really hard to counter, and I think when it comes to PvP, things are definitely going to change with the introduction of both Black Kyurem and White Kyurem. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what this will entail for the future of Pokemon Go. I do not know if there's going to be any more fusions after Kyurem, considering that when it comes to fusion Pokemon, it really was only Kyurem and Necrozma that had that feature in the mainstream games. So maybe there's going to be more fusions in the future, and it's going to be something very unique to Pokemon Go. I really do not know, but I definitely think this is going to open up a lot of doors for a lot of players, especially for those who still need really good raid counters within their collection. So yeah, let me know your thoughts regarding the introduction of both Black Kyurem and White Kyurem down below. Are you excited for the introduction of these fusions? Do you feel like this increases the value of the Unova Go Tour event? Definitely share all of your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's have a great discussion. And with that said, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for making it all the way to this point of it, and if you ended up enjoying it and found it to be informative, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and also don't forget that little bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the content of the channel, the absolute best way you could do so is by joining my Patreon. If you decide to become a paid Patreon member, you get the added benefit of becoming a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids and the friendship system, if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, make sure you go and check me out on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on screen. Go over there and give me a follow. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.